Hi, my name is Drew Daniela from Florida's West Coast Wake Camp. Welcome to Wake Surf Instructional Volume 1. In this video, we're going to teach you the basics from the right equipment to use to the safety of wake surfing and the proper way of weighting your boat for the best wake. And finally, we will teach you how to get up on your wake surfer and do some basic tricks. What is wake surfing? Wake surfing is riding a surfboard behind an inboard boat on a knee-to-waist high wave with no rope. There are two different styles of wake surfing. There's a skimboard style, which is a smaller board made more for spinning tricks and skateboard style tricks. There's also a surf style, which professional surfer Jessica Oswald will be showing in the video.
This is a surf style board. I just wanted to show it. As you can see, it's a little bigger than Drew's board, and it's more designed to do the typical surf style moves, something you more see in the ocean. Drew does a lot of ollies, shove-its, spins. He just spins like crazy, and as you can maybe imagine, it's a little harder to do with these kinds of fins, and so I do more of the surf tail slide moves that I would do in the ocean. Why is wake surfing so popular? It can be done by all ages, and you're going at a slower speed than wakeboarding, so as you can imagine, the impact's going to be lower. So there's going to be less injuries. People with knee injuries have transferred to wake surfing because they don't get hurt as often, and you can do it in all conditions. When it's blown out, the boat smooths over and makes it glassy, and also you can do it in glass, and really you can do it anytime.
Two more different styles of wake surfing. There's line riding and there's free riding. Line riding is the more traditional, what they've been doing for years, where you're getting pulled by your boat on your surfboard, doing surf tricks, but you're hanging onto the rope and the pull of the boat is what's keeping you going.
With line riding, you don't have to worry about losing the wake. You hold onto a rope and you let the rope generate speed for you. Therefore, you're able to do bigger turns, bigger bottom turns, bigger airs, and bigger moves.
With new technology in the wakeboard boats, we can now weight the boats down to have a bigger wake to where you can ride behind the boat and not have a rope in your hand and just free surf. In this section of the video, we're going to go over the basic gear needed to get out on the water and wake surf. First thing you're going to need for safety is you're going to want to have a good fitting life jacket. Next thing you're going to need is a rope. You can use a wakeboard style rope. Disadvantage is you got a lot of rope in the boat that people can get tangled up in. You have a bigger handle that you can fall and possibly get your arm yanked by the boat. The safer route is to go with the wake surfing rope, which as you can tell is a much smaller handle and the rope is a lot less, so you only have just what you need. Also for weight, you're going to want to get at least 2 fat sacks, which we'll show you later on where to set them up in your boat. You take your pump, stick it in the hole, the other side goes in the lake, you fill it full of water. When it's full, pull the pump off, put your caps on, set them up, and you're ready to start riding. The two different boards that'll be ridden, what y'all be riding is a skimboard style board. It's a lot smaller than a traditional surfboard. It's got a flat bottom so it planes good. It's got a really small fin, so this board spins and comes out of the water super easy. It's also handmade just like a skimboard, which allows it's built so that it free rides without being pulled by a boat.
This is a surf style board. As you can see, it's real similar to a surfboard. it's fatter than what Drew's riding, which allows you to have a lot more buoyancy and stick with the wave easier. It also has bigger fins. The bigger fins allow you to have a lot more drive. They allow you to pump without spinning out. And when you drive off the bottom, you can really tweak out your tail. That's why I kind of don't have the center fin, because I find that I could break my fins loose easier if I don't have the center fin.
The next section we're going to go over in this video is safety. Safety is a big issue with wake surfing. First thing, if you can see the propeller of the boat, you don't want to wake surf behind that boat. You only want to ride behind a straight inboard boat. Inboard outboards as well as outboards, the propeller is exposed off the back of the boat. When you're wake surfing, you're extremely close to the back of the boat. Therefore, if you fall, you have the propeller spinning on an inboard outboard or an outboard, and you can very easily fall into the propeller. The other big controversy with safety in wake surfing is carbon monoxide poisoning. Because you ride so close to the boat, exhaust fumes are all around you. There's a few solutions to this. There's the fresh air exhaust system, which is a filter that goes into your exhaust system and helps cut down on the carbon monoxide fumes in the exhaust. The other solution is one that was developed by Centurion Boats. It's a side swipe exhaust system. This system allows the driver to control and divert the exhaust and the carbon monoxide fumes to the opposite side of the boat from where the rider. So if you're riding on the left side of the boat, the driver can turn that exhaust off and put everything out the right side of the boat. In this section of the DVD, we're going to show you how to weight your boat for wake surfing. The boat we'll be using is a 23-foot Centurion Enzo. The first place you want to start is with your factory ballast, which usually runs off of toggle switches on the dashboard. If you're riding on the left side, you're going to want to use the port ballast. If you're riding on the right side, you're going to want to use the starboard ballast. You just flip the switch to in and wait for it to start pouring out the side. Once your water starts pouring out the side, you'll know that your ballast is full. You come back over and you shut your switch off. If your boat has a center ballast tank built in, you would also want to fill that from the dash switch. This boat does not come with the center ballast tank, so what we have is a water sack that we fill up in the middle of the boat to act as a center water tank. Once you've established your factory ballast is full, you're going to want to move to the front of the boat and put another water sack. You can do this by laying it horizontally across the seats, or you can lay it up the seat on whichever side you're riding. You're going to want to fill it up as much as you can, make sure your caps are on tight, and then move to the back of the boat. Each different boat is going to create a better wake either on the left side or the right side. This is due to the direction of the prop. If the prop spins clockwise, the wake on the left-hand side of the boat will be better than the wake on the right-hand side. If the prop spins counterclockwise, the right-hand side of the wake will be better than the left-hand side. Centurion Boats now offers a reverse transmission, so you can get your boat to match whichever side you ride on. In the rear of your boat, you're going to have a compartment on each side of the motor. If you're regular-footed, you're going to want to fill the left side of the boat in the compartment. If you're goofy-footed, you're going to want to fill the right side of the compartment. To do this, you're going to place your fat sacks in long ways so that they're nice and laid out. You're going to hook your water pump into the plug. You're going to take the other end of the water pump, place it underwater so that it's submerged, and then you'll take your cigarette lighter and plug it in so that the water starts flowing into the fat sack. In this section of the video, we're going to get down and learn how to wake surf. The first thing, there's a couple basic terminology that you need to learn. Goofy foot and regular foot. Regular foot is when you ride with your left foot forward on the board. Goofy foot is when you ride with your right foot forward on the board. The way to tell is to stand with your feet close together and have a friend give you a push from the back. Whichever foot you step out with is your lead foot on the board. Now that we've established which stance you ride in, this will help you better to determine which side of the boat you want to ride on. The easiest way to start wake surfing is to ride with the front of your body facing the wake. So if you step out with your left foot forward, the left side of the boat is going to be your front side. If you step with your right foot forward, you will ride on the right side of the wake, which will be your front side on the wake. Keep your feet shoulder width apart on your pads on your board. But what you want to do is push your board underwater so that your board is pushing up on your feet underneath the surface of the water so it looks like you're standing. You want to keep your knees bent, rope and arms, keep your arms bent just a little bit. When you get slack out of the rope, the boat driver is slowly going to start to pull you up. As this happens, you're going to slowly lean back to your heels so that the toe side edge of your board is leaned up underwater. This will then allow the board to drive to the surface of the water. When you make it to the surface of the water, you slowly want to start leaning a little more weight on the back foot. Your back hand, you want to drop off of the rope and shift your shoulders so that the front of your body is squared up with the wake. Once you get turned, you want to relax and get your weight on the back foot, and this will properly get you set up and ready to ride.
I get up a little differently than Drew. I put my heels on the board, a little wider than shoulder width apart. My back foot starts about a foot forward from the tail of my board. I lay on my back, let my life jacket float me, and I rest my heels on the board so my heels are floating as well. And when the boat driver starts to go, the board will flip up and be against my heels. And that is when I slowly bring my body up so the board is against the water. And from there, I slowly press on my back foot, which brings the nose of my board forward to face the back of the boat.
Once you got up and you're riding and you got yourself squared off with the wake, the next thing is going to be to get to where you can ride and not have the rope in your hand. When the boat's going, you'll see a spot on the wake that's really clean. It'll be anywhere from 3 to 5 to 6 feet off the back of the boat. This is the spot that they call the power zone where you're going to get all your push. What you're going to want to do is get yourself up there, and from the middle of the wake to just about the bottom is going to be the part of the wake that has the most power. You want to get in there and try to get your rail set by leaning into your toes just a little bit. And you're going to want to keep the rope in your hand and slowly lean onto your front foot. And as you lean on your front foot, it's like stepping on the gas pedal, and this is going to push you towards the boat. As you start getting pushed towards the boat, you're just going to slowly transfer your weight to your back foot, which is like the brake in this situation, and it will slow you down. Play with that, and as you do it, you'll get to a spot where you'll be able to just stand perfect, and it's going to hold you right in that section of the wake, and you'll be following the boat. You know you're doing it right when you're holding the rope and there's a big loop or the rope has got slack in it. Keep the rope in your hand in case, as you're learning, so that if you don't make it, you still have the rope to pull you. Once you get comfortable with that, take the rope and either throw it into the boat or just throw it to the side and let somebody pull it in, and try just focus on your front foot and your back foot weight, and this will allow you to speed up and slow down and stay in the power zone of the wake. Once you drop the rope and you're riding free, one of the first things you got to learn how to do is pump the wake to get speed. You do this by slowly applying pressure on your tail to slow yourself down to fade back. As you start to fade back, you want to transfer your weight back to the front of your foot. You can either lean forward and just shoot towards the boat, or you can pump to the top of the wave and back down to gain speed. Once you got pumping down, the first trick you're going to want to learn is a floater. To do a floater, you're going to fade back and pump up with some speed. When you get close to the boat, you want to turn a little bit of weight on your toes to get your board to carve, and you're going to lean and go up to the top of the wake. Once you're on top of the wake, you're going to angle straight at the boat, and then right when you start to feel like you're slowing down, you want to turn and drop back into the wake by applying weight onto your heels.
Doing a floater with wake surfing is just like doing a floater with surfing. You want to float one section to make the next. And so you want to pump and generate speed, and once you have a lot of speed, you push down on your back foot and you come up to the top of the wave. When you're on the top of the wave, you're holding it. You're going to be a little unstable. When you really start to lose your balance, you push down on that front foot and you put your hand out, and it's going to guide you to come back down. And from there you want to pump again so you don't lose the wave.
After doing a floater, you're going to want to learn a cutback. To do this, you do the exact same thing as a floater. Once you're at the top of the wake, you're going to want to turn off of the wake as if you were dropping back in and push on your back foot, which will then throw spray. After you've turned sideways, you want to get the board straight, lean back on your front foot, and catch back up to the boat so you don't fall out the back of the wake.
Snaps are a good maneuver to use for speed control, and it's sort of like a modified cutback if you had to compare it to surfing. To do a snap, you really want to build your momentum. And you don't want to do a full bottom turn like you would with surfing. You do sort of a modified bottom turn where you face the wave and you want your front hand to lead and wrap around. You do a real quick hand up, knee up, your front hand comes out, your front knee comes out, and you bend down, you bring your board back to the front, and you continue to pump.
To do a rail grab, what you're going to want to do is get yourself right in the power zone of the wake to where you can stand comfortably and be following the boat. You're going to want to bend your knees straight down, trying to keep the same amount of weight on each foot. As you bend down, you're going to want to reach over with whichever hand you're grabbing with and grab the rail of your board. When you do this, you're going to naturally lean onto your front foot, so pay attention, because as you shoot towards the boat, you're going to want to let go of the rail and stand up and slow back down.
When you're real comfortable with the wave and you know where your sweet spot is on the board, rail grabs are a good way to add style to your surfing.
There's a bunch of different grabs you can do. You kind of just got to be creative and have fun with it. Now that you got the super basics down, we're going to get a little tricky. So if you got the girl in the boat you're trying to impress, these are the tricks you're going to want to do. To do a tail slide or a lip slide, which is very similar to the same thing, you're going to want to fade back on the wake so you can get a lot of speed. Pump up to the boat, go up as if doing a floater, but push your back foot and slide your tail out so that you're sliding your board sideways on the wake. So your nose is pointing off to the side. Slide that way until you start to feel like you're going to fall, and then lean back to the nose and drop back in the wake and keep up with the boat. The other slide you can do is a front board slide. To do this, you're going to want to slow down, stall on the wake, and then pump towards the boat to get as much speed as you can. As you get towards the boat, you're going to want to lean onto your toes, carve up the wake, and twist your shoulders and your hips so that your back faces the wake and your nose is on the top of the wake. As you're sliding and you start to lose speed, you want to twist your head and your shoulders back to the boat, which will then allow your feet to swing back around. Once you get straight again, you're going to lean on your front foot and catch back up to the boat. When trying to do an air, what you're going to want to do is fade back as far as you can without losing the boat so that you can generate a bunch of speed. Pump towards the boat. As you have all your speed and you're approaching the boat, you're going to want to turn towards the top of the wake. When you get to the top of the wake, you're going to want to apply pressure on the back of your foot and push it down in a quick motion so that the pressure of the water on the board will generate the board to pop out. As the board pops, you're going to want to come up in the air with the board. It's very similar to doing an ollie on a skateboard. As you come off the wake and you pop, you're going to slowly rotate your shoulders back to the wake so that as you land, you're not facing the opposite direction. You're going to want to land coming back into the wake and then on your front foot to catch up to the boat. Once you've mastered your regular airs, the next step is a grabbed air. To do this, you're going to take the grabs you learned earlier and apply them to the trick. You're going to do your airs the same, only when you come off the wake and you're in the air, you're going to want to look at your board, pull your knees up a little bit higher, and reach where you're looking to get the grab on the rail. Once you've grabbed it and you start to come down, you're going to want to release the board and start to stand back up straight, and then land and catch up to the boat like a regular air. To do a fire hydrant, you're gonna get right in the power zone to where you're cruising behind the boat without having to shift your weight much. What you're gonna do is bend down as if you're gonna do a rail grab while riding. You're gonna stick your front hand on the nose of your board and transfer your weight to your front hand, taking the weight off of your front foot. Once you got your weight on your front hand, you're gonna take your front foot and stick it out behind you off the board and allow your front hand to act as your foot and transfer your weight back and forth to keep you in the sweet spot. Once you're done with the trick, you're going to slowly bring your foot back to the board and slowly stand back up and ride. The theory behind the fire hydrant is to appear as if you're a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. The purpose behind doing a hang 5 is so as you're fading back in the wake and you're starting to fall out, you can go to the front and hang 5, and this will generate weight to the front of the board to allow you to catch back up to the boat instead of having to pump all the way back up. Stall to fade back on the wake. Instead of pumping back up to the boat, you're going to slowly lean a little bit onto your back foot, allowing the weight to come off your front foot so that you can crawl your toes to the front of the board. Once your toes get to the front of the board, you're going to want to curl your toes over the front of the board and slowly put your weight back on that foot, which is going to allow you to speed back up to the boat. Once you start to get close to the boat, you're going to want to pull your foot back and slowly apply pressure on your tail to slow down so you don't run into the boat.
And one thing I like to do is a cheater 5. You want your weight to be towards the back of your foot, and you try and put your front foot up more and more until you feel real comfortable and you have almost all your weight towards the back, and you just hold that. And then slide your front foot back to where it was initially and you begin to run.